Hi, it's Adam Cox here, backstage at the Ultimate Entrepreneur event, and I'm joined by Lloyd, who is a property speaker and investor. So hello.
Hi.
So tell me a bit about what you're going to be talking about and why it matters to people.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about how to build a property investment development business. And I think, I come from a business background. I've been in business myself 30 years. Property as an asset class was something I kind of understood but didn't understand, and I think a lot of business people are like that. There's a lot of misconceptions which I want to try and dispel tomorrow when I speak, and try and encourage people to actually look at property perhaps a little bit earlier than they might have done otherwise.
And is there a difference between property development and property investment?
As far as I'm concerned, they're both the same. They essentially get the end result, which is making profit. But yeah, in the actual process of everything, the way it's done, yes, they are quite a bit different, and it's a lot of what you go into and how that's actually developed will depend on the individual's circumstances, goals, and what they're looking to try and achieve.
Perfect. And in your experience, what makes property such an attractive vehicle to achieve wealth and build assets?
I think with property, well, let's just look at the rich lists around the world, for example. You look at any rich list, and property comprises a major asset within their wealth. But that aside, it's always had that kind of touchy-feely. It's something you can see. It's not like stocks and shares, which can go up and down like a yo-yo. Property always has a value inherent within it. And I think that's what's the attraction. Within the UK, we're obsessed with property. It's always on the news, and we're quite distinct from the European market. Literally, an Englishman's home is his castle, and that's historic, and it's something we've always wanted to own or invest in.
And of the different property classes, let's say, you've got buy-to-let, HMOs, commercial property. What would you say is the more desirable kind of, or whether it's from cash flow or kind of appreciation, in your experience, what do you think people should be really looking out for in terms of property?
It's always an interesting question, and one I always get asked. I think this is where treating the property development as a business, an investment as a business, as opposed to just purely a passive investment, will change your view. Because if you treat it like a business, then you'll be looking more at what the market's happening, and what is current today might not necessarily be the same in 3 or 4 years' time. When I started, what I was investing in then, I don't invest in today.
And the changes, and there's been lots of change in the property market over the last couple of years, not being able to offset interest, mortgage interest, for example, being one of those, and different stamp duty thresholds. Is property, a good investment of the past, but not so good in the future?
Well, again, another really common question. The interest rate relief and the stamp duty, I see as opportunities. And what I am seeing is, yes, there are a lot of people getting out of the market, but that's an opportunity as far as I'm concerned. There are people that don't understand the effects of those changes or how to mitigate them, and which we do. We were going to be affected by the interest rate relief change, and in some of our portfolio we may still be, because of historically that's how we held them. But we've changed with the times, and we've adapted our portfolio to suit current circumstances. And I think that's what you have to constantly do with any kind of business, not just property.
And is part of that adaptation, having, let's say, a legal entity like a limited company owning the property rather than kind of owning it as an individual? And if so, what are the kind of things to kind of think about for an investor when they do that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly now we're more likely to put stuff into a limited company. Not always. It depends on the deal, depends on what we're trying to achieve on the deal. But yes, generally speaking, it's going to be a limited company. That's, for some people, might frighten them a little bit because they might not have set up a limited company before, but it's a straightforward process, very, very simple, can set up online within 20 minutes, as you probably know yourself. And there are some advantages, but there are also disadvantages in a limited company. I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, but that's the kind of thing, really, you sit down with an accountant, you'll chat to them about the disadvantages in terms of the tax consequences, but also we'll look at it from a business perspective, and you always make the decisions based on the business perspective with something in the back of your mind saying there's tax differences here as well, and that's where you need advisors, professional advisors, to help you.
As an investor, when you look at a deal, what do you tend to kind of pay more attention to, cash flow or appreciation?
That would change depending on where I was in my journey. So when I first started out, it was Cashflow, and I think businesses have to focus on cash flow. If you focus on appreciation, you see, appreciation, in my view, is speculation. That's not something I can plan for. I can plan for cash flow. I know that if I buy a property, residential or commercial, I put a good tenant in there, I'm going to get cash flow. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years' time as far as appreciation is concerned. To me, that's a bonus. But you make your money when you buy, not when you sell anyway.
You mentioned the recent changes being an opportunity. Do you think the changes, which have been quite punitive to buy-to-let landlords, and for some people selling portfolios and things like that, what opportunities can you see on the horizon for those people that are still keen to invest in property?
There are a number of opportunities, and I think that the one you just highlighted, those landlords that are looking to sell portfolios, they are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They're going to get stitched up by the government, let's put it bluntly, and historically, obviously, property investors have generally been the Tory party's friends, if you like, in many places. But now it's kind of going the other way. But the landlords that are now looking to sell their portfolios creates an opportunity. They're going to be really stitched up with a large tax bill if they don't do something. What can they do? Well, if they try and transfer into a limited company, they're going to hit with a massive capital gains tax bill and potential other charges as far as financing is concerned. Or what's their choices? So a lot of them are now leaving the market, and there are portfolios coming on all the time now, more rapidly. Surprisingly, a lot of landlords are still not aware of the tax changes. And they're going to suddenly be hit next year and the year after when it really starts to take effect. So that itself creates opportunities, but there's many others, and I'll talk about those tomorrow.
Excellent. And I'm guessing, by what you've said there, you're anticipating for those people that haven't planned ahead, potentially they might be distressed and forced to offload quite quickly. Could be one of those opportunities.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
They're just ostriches. They're putting their head in the sand. They're just ignoring, hoping it goes away. And when the tax changes were first announced, we didn't do anything. We decided to wait and see. Let's see. There was a few challenges going on at the time, just to see if anything actually was going to happen or change. Potentially change of government. Could it have been better or worse? Who knows? So we took our time, and we still have taken our time. And I think when you have a major impact like that on the market, a professional property investor will take their time to assess the risk and decide what course of action they're going to take.
Perfect. And if people can't catch you speaking tomorrow, where can they find out more information on you and the kind of things and insight that you offer?
Yeah, so if they go to our website, which is www.propertymasteryacademy.co.uk, there's 1 or 2 podcasts on the site as well, which will give you an insight into myself and our company, our backgrounds, the way we view things. Because our view on investment is perhaps a little bit different to some of the others in our market, but that's just because of our background.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you very much.